Welcome back. South Africa's employment tax incentive has landed jobs for 270,000 young people. National Treasury says to date, about 29,000 employers have made use of the incentive. Meanwhile, researchers at UCT's Southern Africa Labour and Development Research Unit have recommended that a study be conducted among companies to investigate their awareness and responsiveness to the Employment Tax Incentive Act. Vimal Ranshold from UCT's Southern Africa Labour and Development Research Unit joins me on the line from our Cape Town studios now to discuss this further. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Vimal. Now, what is the employment tax incentive and what does it aim to achieve?
The tax incentive is a way for the state to subsidize youth employment. So it wasn't a subsidy, which was the original plan, but it came out as a tax incentive in the sense that for new youth that they hired, they could claim a tax deduction which could be set off against their existing PAYE obligations.
From the research that you conducted...
And so the idea is that the net...
Apologies, finish your thought, please.
The research that we conducted...
From the research that you conducted, how much has the... Apologies for that. From the research that you have conducted, how much has the employment tax incentive contributed to actually creating jobs for the youth?
Okay, so in our research, what we did was we took data from Stats SA up to 6 months after, so up until June of last year, and we just compared whether there was an increase in the rate of employment for youth. And we didn't find any significant effects that were positive.
Is it fair to say that the incentive rewards companies for jobs that would have been created anyway?
Yes, it does reward them, but it also rewards companies that are creating new jobs. So the thing is, it could have an effect, but at the same time, it will also just reward companies that are having turnover.
How much does it cost the state to create a new job under the scheme?
We just can't say, because even though we've got the numbers from Treasury, they haven't said how much tax relief was already claimed. They just said that there's been 270-something thousand claimants, but not what was the value of that. So we just don't know.
What are the downsides of spending public money on this incentive? I mean, what are the lost opportunities for the government and the country, really?
The biggest downside would be if all the money got spent and we created no jobs, because then it would just be money spent that goes to firms. But if it was in the end going to create the jobs and we wait a little while and we see that it does, then it's not clear that it's a bad idea.
What alternatives does your research suggest for creating stable and sustainable new jobs for the youth?
This is a really hard question, which our research has just focused on this particular policy. If we had to ask lots of the labor economists in the country, the truth is that no one will be able to give you a simple answer. And the reason is because this is such a complex, long-run, persistent problem that any solution is not going to be simple. It's going to have to be a complex solution which is going to involve many different parties coming to the table.
Vimal Ranshold from UCT's Southern Africa Labour and Development Research Unit, thank you so much for your time this evening. Right, our daily question and answer feature is up next, and we are live in Davos, Switzerland. Do stay with us.